Hello folks, Brew here. Another day, another modern treat for you folks. This is one of the two remaining videos of one of the playtest sessions, and there's another one of which I already published one. So yeah, in the coming days, it still gets a few tapes. On the left of this side of your screen this time, that's Eldrazi Tron, and on the right, that's Vizier company. That's basically your regular, well, sort of regular Absent company with the update with the new cards. So the Vizier remedies and the devoted druids, and you have the combo of those two guys making infinite mana, and then you just activate for a bunch of times. Desk Quest Recruiter, go through your deck, find Walking Ballista, kill your opponent. So the stock build actually has all the free combos in it. Pretty good start. So yeah, natural like Tron turn 3. Basically, that's what we're gonna see here from Eldrazi's. I see Tower in Mine and with the map in play. So yeah, there's gonna be a natural well, not natural, but semi-natural Tron turn 3. That spells kind of a disaster. Um, the builds of both decks are not 100% absolute, and I've been experimenting with the Eldrazi Tron quite a bit. I think if you go to MtG Salvation and go to the very back of the thread for the deck, I think that's probably the safest build of the deck that people should be leaning onto. And then for the Absent company, well, the sideboard nobody can get it like 100% right, but as for main deck, probably want to lean towards the Joel Larson's build from an article on Channel Fireball like a few weeks ago. So that's probably the core list. I had a turn to things here off of a bed, so yeah, quite okay draw. But yeah, the problem of well, the company deck is that, well, if you get like turn, I mean whatever turn, but fast enough Tron, then you're just in such a bad shape. They just have to, keep your board more or less in check, and you can just never win. Yeah. Well, he's catching in Mindstone here, so he's light on interaction here, so maybe he has some boom booms, but not the booms that actually, do stuff here. Okay, so after he cashed in the Mindstone here, still had mana for Fortnots here. Um, well, you see a weird card in my hand, but it's a proxy of a Walking Ballista. Well, that I have only 4 in this, like the closest as it get, but this is a test match, so whatever. So you saw some lands here, Chords got exiled with the Footnotes here. What else you saw? Well, the Walking Ballista, right? There are in total 5 Ballistas between the decks. Well, I just need to find the third piece of the combo here, but yeah, well, I had it in my hand with the cord, but it got taken away. And cards like this, so Chalice, all this does Fortnite here, just make it so hard to, um, fight through everything with the Absent deck. Just cast a bird on the Seer. Um, Bird's probably jumping here. Well, I fetch first and then I jump with the bird and hit it to scry. Maybe even if he does not attack, but yeah, like, see, a bunch of mana, Walking Ballista, and your Absent company deck is just so unplayable. Ballista at 6 just knocks the board around, and yeah, we'll attack first. I'm just like trying to figure out like how much he can kill here and what he would actually, use it for. But yeah, this is just like disaster scenario. So I had the combo right away here, well, at least infinite life. Now Tron doesn't play anything like like Emrakul and stuff. So um, infinite life is kind of, well, not necessarily enough, but uh, they're unlikely to win from that spot. And there's nothing like a bunch of science tokens and displacer, blink, and whatnots here, so you can't really mill. Well, there's Karn, so you kind of like can restart the game if Abzan goes infinite life, but that's like just, so much fury and so many turns, so it might sometimes happen, but that's just, very unlikely scenario. Uh, what was that? Oh yeah, Ballista shot the Seer, of course, at first. Here's my own proxy of Ballista at 3, which is still not that great because he has an active one on board still, and he can, deal 2 to things, and then another one to just grab it off. He decided to kill my birds and did not even bother with the things. I think it was like 1 went ahead or something, because there were like 3 things available. Still, like, he has a lot of mana. I'm so far away from combo. I'm like just 1 card in hand. Yeah, well, here's a lens. Just Fortnite's here, so we can just go the distance here. He even goes for what is it? Is it go? Yeah, it's Ghost Quarter. It's just a foil 1 altar that I was gifted for birthday 7 years ago. Unfortunately, which I can't play at competitive level, but yeah, I like the original art so much more than anything that came after that. Like the Innistrad one and so on. Well, Innistrad one is okay, but only as a foil, maybe. I just love old cards and original art most of the time. Most of the time. Catching in the Horizon Canopy, played the land that he saw from the Seer. He has a map, he can, go for, what, Seagate Wreckage here? I don't know. Doesn't really need anything just yet. He could keep it around to fetch a Ghost Quarter to get rid of the township or something. But I'm like dying even to whatever he has on board. I mean, couple of Whatnot series is already pretty annoying. Jump to 1, just to buy myself some time. He's kind of flooding here. I don't have this current in my Eldrazi Tron deck anyway. Here's a pretty late Chalice that he's probably just gonna cast into, and that probably gonna lock me out of this game like 100%. I can still go Company into Court or something like that, but yeah, I've been flooding out here quite a lot. Archangel just doesn't really cut it here. But I do actually like to have all 3 combos in this deck, because for example, it's very unlikely that he'll have time or mana like to cast Chalice on 3, so that means your Archangel combo will still be alive, while if he has something like Chalice on 1 or 2, you can't really go off with the cover combos unless you just hit them off of the Company or Court. Yeah, and then okay, the Vizier combo actually plays around Graveyard Hate, but I don't know, it's much easier to kill, I guess, or something. Plus Archangel is just good on its own, and still synergizes with the deck. Spike Feeder is also like interesting because it can add counters for the Ballista, so if you like high on life but you need to get rid of something, you can charge up move the counters from Feeder to Ballista. Because charging Ballista with its own ability is kind of like costly. So yeah, I'm at down to 3 life. He's been flooding out, but like, okay, and yeah, fetch that's not gonna fetch me a basic swamp and the red cap, which I don't know if I just cut from the deck entirely after this game or after this match. But anyway, I did cut it, just because you don't really need it. If you go like infinite life, then you get the scries, and then what was it? Ah, you can just find an offensa, and if you really need the infinite damage in certain matchup, um, then yeah, you can go the Vizier route or you can go Archangel route. So just Red Cap, one of the arguments to actually keep Red Cap in the deck in general is because it allows you to interact also against like Lilianas and stuff like that. But since you're gonna like play Ballista in the deck, then well, you have that answer if you really want to. You can't chord it out, sure, but you know, um, Ballista overall is a better card than Red Cap, I feel like, even though in this deck that might not necessarily be true, but eases your mana as well. You never have to worry about like needing double black in play. So here I'm just replacing it with the third Noble Hierarch, I think, and we're already kind of starting to sideboard here. But what did I swap it for? I think now I'm just keeping 2 Nobles in the deck, and I think that slot is now taken just by a 23rd land. And between Duskwatch Recruiter and Ballista, you gain some extra mana sinks. But yeah, I could see like going down to 22 land and plus the Duskwatch. But then again, okay, Devoted Druid like is a mana dork, sure, but running down to just 6 1-drop mana dorks is kind of crazy. So I've seen builds which just play Surgical plus Relic for Eldrazi Tron, but I do love me some Cage in here because well, it kills basically this deck and also Elf's Company too. It's still good against Dredge and Reanimator, for example. It's still good against Storm. It doesn't cycle, so that's like one of the major downsides of the Cage, but just like kind of diversifying your graveyard hate in the sideboard. And while online, you might not face like too many company decks and stuff like that, but on paper you might see more of those. So Spatial Contortion, that I think I ended up cutting from the sideboard entirely because it was just underwhelming. In this matchup, it's obviously quite alright. He's actually thinking of cutting some Chalices, of which there are 4 main. Well, Wormcoil was here just because this deck that day was just pre-geared for an FNM where I expected a lot of burn decks. I'm not sure, I think I still ended up losing to some burn deck, or I ended up losing to Zoo. If that would have been burn, I would have been okay, but I just faced a too big of a board and with no way to, you know, contain it anyhow in the turns to come. So yeah, died to some Burning Emissary, Bushwhacker, Chains. So it was that kind of Zoo. Well, because he has bringing in a lot of, you know, great cards already, then maybe, yeah, Chalice is not like 100% win here, even if you cast it on 2, just because you can actually get those 2 drops into play with Company Accord. Wormcoil, like, yeah, it's just a third Endbringer right now, like it should be. Ogin is of course just insane in this matchup, but what it proxies here is extra Olis Dust copies, which is also amazing here. I think the build that my friend had here had a one color main, one better skull main, and extra second copies of both in the sideboard. I think that was the build. I suppose he just left one and one in. He should have probably boarded in relics, but that build didn't have surgicals that day. But they are there now because, well, I did my research, let's say, and I realized why I actually need them in the sideboard, which is just all liner combo decks and just a bunch of decks with low threat density, and yeah, also hits land. So Ghost Quarter, Surgical, Crucible, that kind of package is a real deal against some decks. What else? What else? What else can we say? Yeah, so Relic should have probably been in because it cycles at the very least. And I'm just kind of surprised that he didn't board in like Ratchet Bombs. So it's probably because he wasn't like that familiar with the Eldrazi Tron and also with the Subs and Company deck. So I'm taking out some cute value out, even though I've been like flooding out sometimes. But those cards are not gonna save me, and I would rather have some, you know, real hate, because there's much more of the Eldrazi Tron. I'm not sure if Revoker actually deserves a sideboard slot. Maybe just Fulminators are better. But the upside on Revoker and Magus definitely better. Magus, you just get off company on Cord, and you can cast them out from birds, which you can also cord out if you really want to. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem not having actual lands that produces red, but Magus is just pretty darn good. The guy that went top 16 at Magic Cup Market like Frankfurt Open, he had a Magus in the side with no way to actually hardcast it really outside of birds and the dig spells. A real bad matchup, I would say. Sometimes you can just goldfish with the company and just get your combo quickly if the Eldrazi deck just doesn't get to fast mana too quickly, like with Tron or with Temples. So there's that sub game, sort of. It's a tempo matchup, yeah. Like, this deck is less vulnerable to Chalice, but then your crucial based decks, and that's just not a great plan. Here's the power plant, I believe, into Cage, so that shuts down quite a few cards. So yeah, this build right now, I don't think it has Mind Sensor, so that's also a good option, even in this matchup, because map and what else? Is that it? Just it? Okay, maybe not so cool in this matchup. Second piece of the Tron, and just turn to 1/1 Ballista, which is still annoying. I'm not sure why he decided not to, just kick off the bird in here to cut me off an extra mana. Maybe he has the third piece of the Tron in hand. But then again, like, if he does that, then he's just gonna use up all that mana for something like really cool here. I'm going for Maelstrom Pulse here, turn 2, getting rid of the cage. Because yeah, I think I had some companies or chords in my hand that I wanted to, get online. Even if he shoots down a bird here, I think the fact there was that I had some Spirit Lens in my hand. Okay, check for one with the Ballista. No Tron, just a waste. Okay, now he picked up the bird. That's interesting. So maybe he just wanted to wait and see if I cast something like Vizier or Seer. Here's a devoted druid that makes dismember. So yeah, especially if the opponent with Eldrazi Tron has special contortion, the matchup is just like super bad. Just everything dies, and then they have like pretty fast clock. It's not like you have a few turns to sometimes draw out of a bad game. Yeah, Seer. They can just go like Smasher, Smasher, and yeah, a couple of turns you're just dead because, well, you don't have good blockers, you don't have good answers. Well, I did board in. I think I did board in Paths. I suppose I did. Either way, I'm supposed to. Footnotes here takes a chord. There's another chord in my hand. It's not gonna help. Um, can okay, I fetch now, and next turn I can, fetch with 5 lands in the seer, chord out the well, Fin Hunter, for example, and get rid of the probably. Well, it depends on my draws. Get rid of possibly Footnotes here with the ability on the stack. So get rid of it for good. But then again, like there is a Smasher. Well, if I fetch, you go to 5, and then I have to like block the Smasher to actually, not die. That's a pretty awkward spot. It's a pretty damn awkward spot. Yeah, cracking the fudge. Cracking the fetch. Still have some basics in there. Yeah, so questions like when do I do this? What do I target? If I try to get rid of the Smasher, then you know, I would have to discard. There's actually a chance that Big Game Hunter should come back into this deck because, well, you have Bant Eldrazi and the Tron Eldrazi, and then you have Death Shadow. So against all of these decks, Big Game Hunter could be good. You don't have to madness it out, you can just cord it out or flip it from company. So yeah, that's a consideration for sure. Not sure what's better, probably BGH than Intrepid Hero. Even though Intrepid Hero, like, that's has multiple usage. Okay, he just shows me, I guess, a Smasher and Hogan, so I was dead no matter what. My hand was like okay. Well, I didn't hit companies. I hit some chords though too. But yeah, there were, there was a cage, there was a footnotes here. So yeah, just like both have good cards. Tron just has like quite a good amount of disruption. Not saying that Thompson Company is a bad deck or anything, but it's just that this matchup is not that great, and this Tron happens to be a pretty popular deck, so that's a problem. But yeah, in the white field, which has a bunch of like very different decks, the Thompson Company is pretty damn strong. It's pretty damn strong. Another problem with it is that it's just not so amazing against Death Shadow. Yeah, so we're just replacing the life totals here. Yeah, the issue with the life total labs on the phones is that, yeah, they really use up a lot of the charge, And not just because of the app itself, but because you set up it in such a way, even if you switch of internet and a bunch of different other things, you have to keep the screen up, so it's always, active, and that's why it just uses a lot of battery. Same thing like if you just read something or from the web or just from the phone or watch something, and yeah, it's an app, so yeah, the battery like doesn't go down that quickly, but still goes down. But yeah, so here the lights are actually working in our favor, so you can see the left totals. But yeah, this matchup is that I ever go off with the combo where he just like kills me super fast, so it's not like you're playing, let's say, Burn versus some Zoo, for example, where life totals change all the time and go back and forth because of stuff like Lightning Helix, for example. Yeah. I don't know what to do to make this matchup good. Full Meter is okay, but not like that amazing. It could buy you a turn or two, but Full Meter is much better, I think, against Tron, because this deck is just not that dependent on big mana, and it has temples, and so it's not that bad. He had a wait, I started with the tap lands. His turn one was a map. My turn two was the devoted druid. Well, he's gonna get a Tron live turn 3 here if he really wants to. I got quite a bit of mana here with the devoted druid, with which I can do some like pretty nasty tricks. Basically, one of the important points to play the 2-mana Unoffensive in this deck, just because it resets the Devoted Druid, and you can just like dump your hand and play a bunch of creatures and just keep on resetting Devoted Druid, just kind of like get really a lot of mana that way to cast your creatures. Yeah, so he got the third part, and I just passed the turn, so I broke on the third land, but with the Devoted, which is kind of like Wolf Roots in a way, well, sometimes better, especially in this case. So I get to cast the Company, because actually, yeah, turn 2 Wolf Roots doesn't, without the third land, doesn't let you to cast Company, turn 3. So yeah, casting Company in response, because of course I don't want him to take it. It's not like I have a second one in my hand. Because if I did, then probably I should have let the Vizier resolve. Because then I don't give out extra information to my opponent. Then I can just end of turn Company. In case he would tap this plant for, I don't know, a Mind Stone or something. Instead of, keeping mana up for removal, or just cast the removal spell straight ahead. But if you would see my hands, well, I don't know, things, yeah. So, I can have infinite green now, with Fortnite's here on the stack. Yeah. But I'm not sure if that actually matters. Okay, he has Contortion here. I know what he's gonna kill. I think I've put in plus counter for Devoted. Yeah, to set it out. What happens here? No, I just win here, actually. I just win here. I know, but he can take Chord. No, he can take Chord. Then I can Witness next turn, get it back. But unless I draw a land, I can't, I can't go off. Yeah, obviously, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was Tower. Yeah, I guess it was Tower. I guess he had, like, mana floating, yeah. Because he had 7, yes, 6, 7, yeah, okay. So I can do Witness then that resets the druid, right? Um, can't get back court because it's exiled. Can get back company. It's tricky. No, I can make take two from devoted. Tap tomb, cast witness, reset the yeah. Okay, but yeah, okay, I can go infinite here, but does that do anything? Yeah, I can't go infinite here. Well, I can go infinite mana this turn, but I would have nothing to actually, go turbo with. Right. So I can still have 3 mana at least. Um, yeah, I can probably go. Okay, I had a land here. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, 3 mana. Not casting the land just yet. Witness, get back. Company, huh? Weird. Could have taken Vizier. I guess company is just like better. If I'm acting in the dark here, I can cast a 2-drop here if I want to, but I guess I just didn't have it. So Revoker on the map, which is not doing much. There's a chance that I should have just cast it on Karn or Ugin, but I don't know, like, because that configuration actually has both of those, and he probably can just can just do it. Here's a ballista, and we're dead. That's just it. So ballista for what, 4? Didn't he have more mana? Had Tron plus another piece. That's like 9. Oh yeah, right. It's still just a ballista for 4. Sorry. Well, he just he has 1 mana floating. Well, he does want to. Well, he does want to kill the druid at the very least. Yeah, I'm just a bit frustrated here, because that's a pretty damn good draw here. While he has quite a few actually mediocre one. Well, footnotes here will be also like pretty annoying here because that will take away the company, but still not as frustrating as ballista because of killing some important stuff that I have on board here right now. Right. So yeah, cutting me off mana is pretty important. But yeah, he still has contortion and dismember, so yeah. It's like I can have high hopes here, but okay, I should have a bolster trigger here with the things. Did I just miss it here? Okay, I guess I'm just trying to find a counter here. Or he's just responding to it. Okay, in response I killed Revoker. Really? Well, that Revoker on the map was just not a huge deal. Now he has a 1-1 ballista, so I get a free attack of the Anafenza. Don't really want to block with it. I have good things here, but then he probably just charges up ballista a few times. Then kills with an Anafenza, so that if I block the Seer with Fangs here, that's just not gonna cut it. Well, here's an argument to actually try to, well, if I double block here, Witness actually has a counter on it, so it's a 3-2. Then he charges up the ballista twice, up to 3, kills off one of the dudes. Well, then he'll do what? He'll just kill off the and then Bringer joins the party. It's not that great at the moment, though. Well, he has mana to charge the ballista once. So to 2 to kill off Anafenza in response to me trying to go off. I'm at 13 by the way here, and he's at 18, so there's enough of health and, yeah, life points to work with, sort of. But yeah, once he untaps with Endbringer, I don't know, it's pretty much game. I have Magus in my hand, but no way to hardcast it, so that's the problem. No, maybe I should be playing like a Stomping Ground instead of one of these Razor Reverse Thickets. Because without Red Cap, like the mana is a little bit lighter for things like that. Yeah. But then again, there's a Fulminator, so on, so on. Which one's double black, so. Because you have no way of making double red. But then again, Stomping Ground actually makes it a bit easier to cast Fulminators. A lot of like awkward stuff. Well, casting things here just trying to stabilize, but yeah, I'm dead. Like he has like too much interaction here. Bolster on an offensa, he can just respond to it by just like taking up Ballista to 2. Decides not to, kill off an offense in response to the bolster trigger. That's kind of interesting. Well, I guess he just didn't want to cash it in. Well, when he untaps, he just has access to all the men in the world, to like a bunch of it. Yeah, without paths or anything like that, I don't know how I can get out of this. I don't know, for a glimpse it looked like I didn't board in paths. Maybe I just didn't want to dilute my deck too much, but like Endbringer just kills the company. It's not just like the occasional ping, it's only pings for one, but coupled with Ballista, and the fact that you get to like draw a bunch of cards or force something not to attack or block, it's just all those options and flexibility and so on just doesn't look good. And he's attacking with Endbringer plus Footnotes here with a bunch of mana up, so he can shoot some blockers if Endbringer will be in any danger. Blocking with, yeah, Witnessing one things here, on the Footnotes here, is still not gonna be great, but yeah. Trying to do like best I can here in this position. Obviously there is no great outcome for me here. Charges up Ballista once, uses up 2 to kill off the Witness so that things dies. His Footnotes here doesn't die for sure. Number 2 to cast Contortion, okay, on an offense in response to persistent stuff, so yeah. Scooping it up because, like, well, I'm just out of this game for sure. There's very little I can do. So yeah, perhaps sideboarded. Been pretty unlucky. He drew Tron very quickly. He had all the removal in the world. Contortion is pretty good in this matchup, but I don't think you need it. Because there is enough removal. And Contortion, well, just very few decks where it's actually super good. It's flexible in a way because you can, just try to trade with your stuff into their stuff if you Contortion their creature. And so on, sometimes could be extra, 3 damage. Let's just say you cast it on your own Smasher, then you get in for extra 3 damage basically. So it's kind of like brute force / bolt in a way. But yeah, the main problem with Ugin, just like with any Tron deck, is because well, you can't cast it with a turn 3 Tron. That's the point. Well, yeah. Anyway, you can't do that. And while it does wipe off like a lot of nasty stuff in numbers, but Karn can go for their lands and for their cards in their hands, so I think it's overall better against control. It's better. Ugin, of course, is better against aggro. Yeah. Um, and also, Karn is better in the mirror, for example, too. Okay, doesn't look like a board that didn't pass, which is just super strange. Weird. I guess I just wanted to try it out, like whether I can, just try to go all in on combos and hope to hit one of them on time. Guess I just didn't have like good stuff to take out. Even though he has great rate hate, but I just couldn't. I mean, the devoted combo plays around all the cages and relics, which he didn't board in. He didn't board in resin bombs either, so it's kind of weird. But there is no like absolute 100% way to sideboard here for every deck. There is stuff that you just have to bring in, I think, but numbers may vary as well. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe or check the links in the description below. Leave the comments below for any suggestions or notes. And I'll see you guys next time. Until the next sale, goodbye.